Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rockok Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. And our Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. And Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai. Now everyone knows the author's name, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. So today, well, this is for them, and you all know it. My neck is here, but it is for our masters, to Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj. So we've come from the temple room yet again, because 6 o'clock is Arati here, and here in London it is just now exactly 6:30, and a few moments. But not bad, almost on time. But we've come from the temple room, from the Arati, and here the Arati is to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so the public, they come and they see, they come to the altar, they see, and they ask, who is this? They're expecting to see Radha Krishna, they're expecting to see maybe Lakshmi Narayan, they're expecting to see someone they know. But for many, for most who come, they don't actually know who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even when we say, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna, who appeared 500 years ago as Mahaprabhu in order to teach devotion, amongst other things. So, we came from the worship of Mahaprabhu just now, the Arati, the Kirtan, the singing. How is the Lord worshipped? He's worshipped by Kirtan. This is the process in Kali Yuga. And Guru Maharaj explains in the book, which I maybe have here, he explains in here, he says, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he loves Kirtan and he is worshipped by Kirtan. This is the process to make Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pleased and happy. And so, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta has come, now you understand, to give us some understanding about the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what he taught, and how he showed by example so much of what is devotional life. That means not only the ecstasy of the goal of Bhakti Yoga, but also he showed the etiquette, the behavior. He gave the perfect example of behavior between equals, between oneself and the senior generation, the generation of our gurus, associates, god brothers and god sisters, our gurus, associates and god brothers, god sisters, etc. And Mahaprabhu demonstrated Vaishnava etiquette in all kinds of situations and circumstances, and from his very appearance in this world, some record has been kept and is being shared in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. Now, yesterday we tried to illustrate how important, how solid is the writing of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, that he received the grace, the blessings of so many super exalted souls, super exalted associates in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, super exalted associates in Krishna Leela. So yesterday really was trying to make clear that what Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving is revelation which has come by grace of the super devotees and of the Lord himself, Lord Madana Mohan and Lord Govindaji in Vrindavan. So with all this backing to understand who is the author, who has given us the text, then we can really give some attention to what is contained within Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. So now we hope the name of the book, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, is no longer difficult for you to remember or to repeat, because many of these words for us in the beginning, maybe not so easy to even say Chaitanya Charitamrta. But by now we've been hearing, we've been speaking, and been remembering about Chaitanya Charitamrta. So, from the very start of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is continuing to establish the authenticity, the reality that Krishna is God. That's accepted pretty much by the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, because devotees know Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is giving us that conclusion, that clear emphasis: Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving us a very firm foundation to understand very clearly that Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his associates are all of that topmost plane, the Lord and his associates coming here to share the joy of the Lord's land. Now, generally we can think of heaven. We got some idea, oh, heaven is so beautiful and perfect. But the general heaven conception is limited to the material world of things that we can experience and think about. But beyond the material world is the eternal world. And there it is all heaven. It is all running perfectly, because everyone is pure and no one has any idea to pick anything up for themselves and put it in their pocket and run away. But in that gradation, then the topmost plane is Vrindavan, where Krishna lives. And so Krishnadas Kaviraj is establishing in that topmost plane, in an equivalent room of that department, is the distributing department of Krishna Prema. Not only showing what is there, but distributing that extreme joy in far beyond heaven, heaven of Goloka Vrindavan. So the first chapters of Chaitanya Charitamrita can be a little hard work, because lots of new names, lots of new things, lots of new reference points. But it is clear even on the first reading that there is a whole science to spiritual life, as there is a science to the material world, which is amazing science, hence we can talk with each other. There is a science of the spiritual life. There's gradation, there's interaction, there's attraction, all of these things. And there is that gradation of conception of joy, conception of devotion. So the earlier part of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is establishing beyond doubt that what we are going to hear about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not that we're going to hear anything about subject matters of this world, and we should try to keep our mind very open to understand that we are being shown pastimes, called Leela in Sanskrit, of the upper world, the upper worlds of Vrindavan and Navadip. Navadip being the place where Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his young age known as Nimai or Vishvambara, that's where he appeared. And so Navadip and Vrindavan, Guru Maharaj says, like two rooms of the same house. And in Navadip, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, and with the understanding, like Krishna's appearance, that this is not the birth of a baby as in the material world, but it is the Lord's will to manifest himself in this way, and thus allow his dear devotees to have that possibility of parental relationship with him. So everything in Chaitanya Charitamrita is very special. This is the point. It is flowing from the upper world to this world, and beginning from that foundation, then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes are all super wonderful. And today we're not going to read so much. Yesterday's reading was really to try to make so solid this fact that Krishnadas Kaviraj tries to make does make very solid by showing the authenticity of what is being presented. But this is now part 3. In part 3, we're going to have a hint at what is contained. What is contained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. Now we know it's so special. Now we know it is its origin, the background, which is entirely the upper world. Then what are we going to discover by opening the book and turning the pages and reading what is inside? First of all, we'll discover we should read with the association of devotees. And in that association, we will be kept safe. Now, by Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada's grace, we have Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta with the translation, word by word translation, and his commentaries that he's given in English. No one's had to translate his commentaries. He's given in English, he's given the purports in English, and in those commentaries, he has given us also the commentaries, the essence of the commentaries, and sometimes like directly the translation of the commentaries of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, these greats in our Sampradaya. So we are able to read Chaitanya Charitamrita with the checks and balances of the commentary of Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, including these other commentaries within it. Now, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is 10,000 plus verses and many commentaries. So it does take a long time to go through. But Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, he assures us that it is well worth our while. And I think I know I've got a reference, and I don't want to read, as I say, I don't want to read a lot of things today, but a little bit we're going to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela chapter 2, because this is Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, like explaining about the book and how we do need to just keep reading the book. Whether we understand and everything or nothing, just keep reading the book. So a little bit here, it's text, Madhya Leela chapter 2, text 80, it's excerpt number 1 for the translators at home. Oh, and I promised to them I will speak slower today. I didn't deliberately break my promise. Please forgive me. I'll have to do some prayaschitta, some atonement. The only atonement is chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maha prayaschitta. This is how it's described in the songbook in the Kirtan Guide, and in the song when Mahaprabhu goes everywhere. No, Ekadashi song. No. Shri Hari Vasare Hari. Okay, I was just testing them. Shri Hari Vasare Hari. There it says that the holy name, like Mahaprayaschitta, to remove all wrong things, even though that's not what we're focusing on in the holy name. But I thought this time I better chant one Hare Krishna, because I've been speaking too fast and I need to atone for it. Madhya Leela, chapter number 2, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, text number 80. I'll just read the English. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj saying, during his previous pastimes in Vrindavan, so just roll back to yesterday and the day before. During his previous pastimes in Vrindavan, Lord Krishna desired to enjoy the 3 different types of ecstasy. But despite great endeavor, he could not taste them. Krishna could not taste them. Such ecstasies are the monopoly of Srimati Radharani. These are the devotional ecstasies. Krishna is the enjoyer, so he knows how to receive the devotion. But the mood of devotion, what does Radharani feel? That she feels more than I feel through her devotion, like this. So this is the third episode. So just some idea, some hint of the things which are contained, the special gems which are there. So Krishna could not taste such ecstasies. Such ecstasies are the monopoly exclusively of Srimati Radharani. Therefore, in order to taste them, Krishna accepted the position of Srimati Radharani in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By personally tasting the rasas, the mood, the flavors, mellows of love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught his direct disciples the process. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a wealthy capitalist, possessing the touchstone of love of God. So not considering whether one is a proper or improper recipient, he gives his treasure to anyone and everyone. Thus he is most munificent. Yes, and I said I don't want to read too much, but no one, not even Lord Brahma, can ascertain or even taste a drop of this confidential ocean of ecstasy. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of his causeless mercy, has distributed this love of Godhead all over the world. Not a little love of God, this love of Godhead of Radharani. Thus, there cannot be any incarnation more munificent than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no greater donor, giver. Who can describe his transcendental qualities? Then such topics are not to be discussed freely, because if they are, no one will understand them. Such are the wonderful pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Unto one who is able to understand, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown mercy by giving him the association of the servant of his own servant. So as much as we can understand, Krishna will give the association. Mahaprabhu and Krishna will give us the association into that section of devotees, the servant of his dear devotees. And so Krishna is kind to you all, that we've got this connection with Gurudev, with Guru Maharaj, with Srila Saraswati Thakur, with Rupa Goswami, with Mahaprabhu, plus. Now, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the topmost jewels. They have been kept in the storehouse of Svarup Damodar, like the personal secretary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has explained them, so Svarup Damodar has explained them to Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, who has repeated them to me, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj. Whatever little I have heard from Raghunath Das Goswami, I have described in this book, which is presented to all devotees. If one says that Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta is full of Sanskrit verses and therefore not understandable by a common man, then I reply that what I have described are the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and that for me to satisfy everyone is not possible, because there are those who want to see those Sanskrit verses, supplying that happiness. But if anyone kind of makes a complaint, oh, it's too difficult, too many Sanskrit verses. But she generally, incidentally, as you read through, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, in one way or another, also explains those Sanskrit verses, either in the dialogue with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with Sanatana Goswami, Ramananda Roy. When those Sanskrit verses are quoted, then complementary explanation is given in the Bengali. So don't worry that there are Sanskrit verses there. 2 more verses only. In this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, there is no contradictory conclusion. Nothing is contradictory. It is flowing in one way. Nothing is contradictory. Nor is anyone else's opinion accepted. It's not other people's opinion. It's revealed from, as we heard yesterday, this solid background of Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu's directive, the teachings and everything coming through Swarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami, and through the grace of Krishna himself, who gave grace in the form of Madana Mohan and Govindaji of Vrindavan. I have written this book to describe the simple substance as I have heard it from superiors. If I become involved in someone else's likes and dislikes, I cannot possibly write the simple truth. And it's so beautiful to say that, giving you the simple truth. You may like this, you may argue this, you may argue this. That's not the point here. I'm giving it, I'm presenting it. Then this next verse, the last verse today, all verses are important, but here Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj then says, if one does not understand in the beginning, but continues to hear again and again the wonderful effects of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, again and again, the wonderful effect of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes will bring love for Krishna. And this book, remember, it is all about the wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So, if one does not understand in the beginning, but continues to hear again and again, the wonderful effects of Lord Chaitanya's pastimes will bring love for Krishna. Gradually, one will come to understand the loving affairs between Krishna and the gopis, headed by Srimati Radharani, and other associates of Vrindavan. Everyone is advised to continue to hear over and over again in order to greatly benefit. Hare Krishna. So this is what I wanted to express from there today. And by the way, I would just like to read a composition by Srila Govinda Maharaj. We are the family of Gurudev, of Guru Maharaj. Srila Saraswati Thakur means Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Govinda Maharaj, he composed a pranam mantra to Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj and the same pranam mantra to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, the 2 Vyasas, the 2 authors who have given us the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrta. And I'll take the liberty of trying to read the Sanskrit because it's Srila Gurudev's composition and a great invocation, if you like. Srila Gurudev's own composition, and dear translators, this is the, it doesn't say excerpt, it's at the top, it says intro. So I should have said it at the beginning. But anyway, here we are. Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhung Tata Channavatara Chaitanya Lila Vistara Karinau. Dvau Nityananda Parabja Karuna Renu Bhushitau Vyakta Channau Buddha Chinchau Va Vande Vyasa Rupinau. Shri Guru Gaura Gandhava Govindascha Ganai Saha Jayanti Patakaschatra Saveshang Karunatinaha. And then Srila Gurudev is saying his words, I offer my obeisances to Dasa Brindavan, Srila Brindavan Das Thakur, and Krishna Das Prabhu, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj, who made public the pastimes of the hidden avatar, Sri Chaitanya. They were both decorated by the mercy dust of the lotus feet of Nityananda. I offer my obeisances to these two inconceivable sages who assumed the form of Vyasadeva. One explicitly, that is Vrindavan Das Thakur, and the other hiddenly, that's Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. Together with Sri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda and their associates, they conquer scholars who then all seek their mercy. Haribol, that's Gurudev's beautiful composition. And he's referring to the deities in the temple, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, the home of pure devotion, the oasis, the retreat of pure devotion in the line of Rupa Raghunath. Hare Krishna. So Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. And in front of these deities every day, 365 or more days a year, then the devotees read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. They also read Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And they also read Srimad Bhagavatam. In the temple, they can read more than we can in our general duty, like household life when you've got so many things to do. But in the temple, morning reading is actually from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Afternoon, 4 p.m. reading is from Srimad Bhagavatam. And the evening reading is from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. But this is every day. So they're reading from Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they're reading from Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, and they're reading from Veda Vyas, Vyasadeva, who gave us the Vedas, compiled the Vedas, and gave us Srimad Bhagavatam that we were mentioning, illustrating, pointing out so clearly, or trying to point out clearly in the first of these three parts of the introduction to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. As with every book, Srila Gurudev said we should start with the very first word and go all the way through the book. And so, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, now you can all start at the very first word and go all the way through the book. And how is it that they are reading every day since 1947 or before that maybe even, which means now 80 years. 80 years continuously, because when you get to the end, you go back to the beginning. It's called the Parayan. The Parayan is the continuous reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, the continuous reading of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, the continuous reading of Srimad Bhagavatam in our temple. And the emphasis is on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. And for us, we have Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, and the essential kind of summary, it's not even summary, the very valuable substance of Chaitanya Charitamrita is being presented directly in English by Srila Guru Maharaj in this book, The Golden Volcano of Divine Love, which begins, as Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj does, by establishing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. And then, step by step, is giving the essential teachings, including the the summary of the Ramananda Samvad, which is a key part of Chaitanya Charitamrta, about the gradation of God consciousness, the gradation of devotional life. And so here we have the golden volcano of divine love, and it is very healthy for our family. We are talking here with our family that Srila Gurudev is always encouraging us to know Krishna consciousness, to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message in the line of Srila Guru Maharaj. So for us to read something from Srila Guru Maharaj every day by way of starting at the beginning and going through, and here you've got a very good place to start, to read Srila Guru Maharaj at the same time, and also every day to read from Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, who is giving us Guru Maharaj and helping us throughout to understand who is Guru Maharaj and what is this great treasure we have come to. So this is a very healthy, nutritious spiritual diet. And it doesn't have to be a long reading. In the temple, we are reading in the morning while we're doing from 6 to 7. What time? Oh yes, anyway, 1 hour we are doing basically Arati and Kirtan. And then we are doing 15 minutes or 20 minutes from Chaitanya Charitamrta and 15 or 20 minutes from either Guru Maharaj's books or Gurudev's books. If it's Guru Maharaj in the morning, then in the evening, the book we'll be reading at that same time will be from Srila Gurudev. So at the moment, here in the London temple, they're reading every day Chaitanya Charitamrita for the next infinity years, and reading in the morning from Religion of the Heart by Srila Gurudev, which is from Srila Gurudev. So this is the routine here. But to hear from each of them, and with Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will also be hearing from Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, as we mentioned, and others whose commentaries he is referring to and sharing with us too. So this way we are getting a very healthy diet, but not wrong reading, no, not long reading and not wrong reading. And as far as we can with the company of other devotees. And that, by the way, some communities in the world themselves began this themselves, so over Zoom each morning, so that they can keep that flow and keep that contact going. So that is all very appreciable. Then you will find inside this book great treasure. Now, this book, the second half, approximately, pretty much half. There you are, more or less the second half of the book is devoted to, or dedicated to, mainly to the Shikshastaka prayers, which we were covering maybe a month ago or 3 weeks ago, something like that. And those prayers are also in the last chapter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So all these high things that Mahaprabhu relished, Chaitanya Charitamrita has this with much detail, much interaction, so many lessons to learn about the devotee's nature, etc. And that in a, you could say condensed, but very substantial, and from the lotus lips of Srila Guru Maharaj is present here, the second half, the end of the book, being also dedicated to the Shikshastaka prayers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I won't read any more, right? No, I won't read any more. Oh, I will read one more thing. Because Guru Maharaj, wonderful things are going to come out. Ecstasy, joy, love, happiness, beauty. How is it all expressed? I mean, all of this, and eternally ecstatic, eternally joyful, clean joy, all of this. This is what's coming in Chaitanya Charitamrita. All the pastimes, the nectar pastimes, and the eternal Amrita means both nectarian and eternal. And all these things are going to come in higher and higher intensity and quantity. And Srila Guru Maharaj, he often quotes this verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta and Srila Gurudev too. And this is a quote from this very book itself, that, speak slower.
No.
Oh, I'm getting tips from the side here.
Guessing shloka.
Excerpt number 2, dear devotees. Oh, what sloka did you guess?
Krishna Lila.
Yes, okay, extra prasad over here. Okay, so I'm just going to read one short paragraph before that shloka, whether you heard it or not just now. Srila Guru Maharaj, and from this book as it turns out, to bring Sri Gauranga nearer to our soul, to bring Sri Gauranga nearer to our soul, is to get, even unconsciously, a guarantee of our achievement in Krishna Lila. I mean, just that one line is kind of, enough for us in one sense, but I'm going to carry on. For the fallen souls, it is more useful to cultivate devotion to Sri Gauranga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That will give us the complete fulfillment of life with the least trouble. I mean, don't you want the complete fulfillment of life and with the least trouble? Listen to Guru Maharaj. Devotion to Gauranga, it's another of many, of unlimited names of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Devotion to Gauranga will not lead us to any haphazard or misconceived Krishna consciousness, but real Krishna consciousness. It won't take us kind of any hazy place, but to real Krishna consciousness. We can have full Krishna consciousness plus something more. What is that? The distribution of Krishna consciousness. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the giver of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, the most valuable theological literature that has ever seen the light of day. This is Guru Maharaj's direct words. He has written, so again, that sentence, that Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, the giver of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the most valuable theological literature that has ever seen the light of day, has written, so Krishna has written, Krishna Lilamrita Sara Tara Shatta Shatta Dara Dasha Dike Vahe Jaha Hoite Se Chaitanya Lila Hoya Saravara Akshaya Manno Hangsha Charaha Tahate. And so here Srila Guru Maharaj, well, here's the translation as given here, and I think it's Guru Maharaj himself expressing these words in this way. What is Krishna Lila? This is the translation. What is Krishna Lila? It is the real essence of nectar. It is the gist of sweetness, happiness, and ecstasy. So that is Krishna Lila. What is Krishna Lila? Lila means pastimes, his activities, what he does. What does God do? What is Krishna Lila? It is the real essence of nectar. It is the gist of sweetness, happiness, and ecstasy. A little pause for you to digest those words. Maybe you can turn them microphone off while I cough. But I had a, okay, never mind. I had a question. What do newsreaders, professional newsreaders do if they get an itch in the throat or if they sneeze? Because sometimes you want to sneeze. Anyhow, that's another story. If you have an answer, just write in, please. Okay. What is Krishna Lila? We're going to start this again. It is the real essence of nectar. It is the gist of sweetness, happiness, and ecstasy. The sweetness of the sweetest thing that ever can be conceived is represented in Krishna Lila. Then, what is Chaitanya Lila? The pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What does he do? What is Chaitanya Lila? In Chaitanya Lila, that sweet nectar of Krishna Lila is flowing in all 10 directions, in hundreds of streams, as if from a fountain, you know, a big round fountain, and you've got water flowing out everywhere. And that fountain is Krishna Lila. So this is the verse meaning. And Srila Guru Maharaj is continuing. He's saying, although Chaitanya Lila appears later than Krishna Lila, Chaitanya Lila is the source, the foundation. Chaitanya Lila is the source, the foundation. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm not going to read too much, that's it. Well, Krishna, seeing as we're saying about the book, little lines just down. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami concludes, O devotees, come. Like so many swans, you must swim in the lake of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Chaitanya Leela, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta. From that lake, Krishna Leela is flowing to the world in different streams. Devotees, like clouds, take that nectar from the lake and distribute that nectar freely to the fortunate souls. That's you. That's you. Haribol, good. Somebody knows, okay. Come and live in that lake. Ask the swan of your mind to take shelter in that lake. May that swan swim in the nectarian lake of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life and precepts, his teachings, from where so many hundreds of streams of nectar are flowing in all directions. O devotees, I offer this humble prayer to you. That's Guru Maharaj, as I heard a word to say, verbalizing. Anyways, Guru Maharaj is using his own words, but giving the expression of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. This is part 3 of 3 parts. Oh, look at that. Of 3 parts of Introduction to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, which is full from verse 1 to verse 10,000 plus, with the nectarian pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do we have another question? Okay. Okay. You mentioned in the beginning of the class that we worship Mahaprabhu in form of the deity. And in Chaitanya Charitamrta, most of his preaching is in a sannyas form, sannyas vesh. I want to know, why do we worship not the sannyas form of Mahaprabhu?
We are in the family of the residents of Navadip. Just as in Krishna Lila, we know of the cowherd men, the cowherd ladies, the cowherd girls, the cowherd boys. We know of the cows and the calves, etc. And they are living in Vrindavan. And they only know Vrindavan. They only can relate to Krishna in that Vrindavan Leela, that Leela which is nectar, 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 as Guru Maharaj is pointing out, the sweetness of the sweetest thing you could ever conceive. More than that, this is Krishna Leela, and they only can relate to Krishna in that environment of Vrindavan. And Guru Maharaj, he is giving us our conception of being resident of Navadip. And Navadip and Vrindavan are considered, as Guru Maharaj explaining, two quarters, two rooms, two places in the highest quarter, side by side. The residents of Navadip similarly cannot, they know Mahaprabhu goes here and there and has his sannyas dress, but they cannot take Mahaprabhu out from Navadip in this sense. And so our worship of Mahaprabhu is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who everyone can mingle with freely, don't have to have any particular formalities or anything later on. The sweet Navadip resident. And when he goes to take sannyas, when he leaves from Navadip, then Guru Maharaj describes that famously as a tragedy of separation. So after that separation, then the devotees don't like to come to worship Mahaprabhu. The devotees of Navadip do not like to come to worship Mahaprabhu in that shaved head, Tridandi or Ekadanda or no danda, sannyas, depending on which moment. But the devotees, they are worshipping Nimai Pandit, actually. And Gauranga, and it means the golden one, the golden Lord. So Gauranga, the golden one. And Nimai Sunda. Nimai, he's born under a neem tree. Sachi Devi gave him that name of Nimai to protect him. But Sunda, beautiful, Nimai Sunda. And his official passport name, but he didn't have a passport, I don't think. Vishvamba, given to him by Nilambara Chakravarti, the name giver who did the astrology for him, etc. And even if we, even if we don't know any of that, we know this is how Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, how they all, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, how they all worshipped Mahaprabhu. And even if we didn't know they all worshipped him like that, we know that Gurudev did. And Gurudev, he's given us our method of worship, and we happily follow that. But yes. And the subject matter, when we're coming into the, we say part 3, the final conclusions, but it's an introduction to Chaitanya Charitamrta. The subject matter are the finest of the finest of the finest, and like exponentially expanding into wonderful worlds. But we have to read it. We're not going to kind of pick out one part to describe something which is going to come up, which really we need to read. Verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to verse 8,955, etc., etc., to come to these ecstatic symptoms.
Maharaj, it's incredible to hear all of these things and to hear how immensely merciful our lords are, how freely the highest gift is being distributed to the most fallen, regardless of a consideration of qualification. And as you were reading Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Prabhu is saying that, you know, it's widely known and yet it's Gupta, it's hidden. It's this Channa avatar it's sort of also a little bit unknown. And can we consider that what is meant is really that his glories are not fully understood. The extent of his glories are not fully understood, and one is not to preach it to the faithless.
Well, in the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will also come to understand that some devotees saw him, not imagined, but saw him as Krishna. They saw him as Sadabhuj, where he's got 6 arms, 2 arms of Krishna, 2 arms of Ramachandra, and 2 arms, his own arms. They got like different devotees. They actually saw Krishna. Mahaprabhu couldn't hold back showing his form to them due to their devotion. But whenever that happened, Mahaprabhu would tell them, don't tell anybody about this. This is secret. I couldn't help but show myself to you because of your devotion. But this is secret. Now is not the time to reveal these things. Now Mahaprabhu is in the position, in the Leela, the play, the mood also of his devotee, not of the Lord who is the receiver of devotion. And so he was hidden. Then, even though he would reveal himself, he was hidden as an avatar, as they call Channa avatar in that verse that we were reading just now. So the hidden avatar, still he remained hidden. But after Mahaprabhu's pastimes, then the hidden is being revealed. And so we see this in the pastimes where Nityananda took Jiva Goswami on parikrama of Navadip, and then there the hidden Navadip Dham, and then revealing so many places. And then when Mahaprabhu had departed, disappeared, you see Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur and Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj and others, because we have our current coming from the 6 Goswamis, coming through to the next generations, which is coming to then Vishwanath Chakravarti and Baladev Vidyabhushan, etc. Then we get more and more revelation of, or unhiding, if you like, making public Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But still, it is confidential, because fewer and fewer people can understand as things become finer and finer. And so it is a finer point to understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu beyond being a great devotee and a charger like this. And in India, we come across people who say, yes, I know, I read all these things. He was a great sadhu like this. And if we try to say, well, more than sadhu, he was Krishna himself, it doesn't go through. So hidden avatar, but after his disappearance, being more and more unhidden by the grace of Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj and others, not only Krishna, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur in our recent times. And with scriptural background. It's not just making up a story. And hence, the scriptural background, the Vedas, they are established that what it says in the Vedas must be so. And with the reference of the Vedas, then Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj is showing how actually Mahaprabhu is indicated in the Vedas, but in a hidden way. And now it's become clear. And this is expressed by Srila Guru Maharaj, this is expressed by Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj with those quotations.
Jai Maharaj, we have lots of questions flowing in.
Are there? Wow. Read Chaitanya Charitamrta, you'll find all your answers.
Jai. Why does Srila Guru Maharaj give so much attention to the conversation with Ramananda Rai?
Yes, well, it definitely struck a chord with Guru Maharaj because he was of that caliber who can appreciate the finest and the finest and the finest. And Sri Ramananda Roy gave, you can say, a very scientific step by step by step by step gradation from this world, like the beginning of selflessness, devotion, etc., all the way through to the finest finest devotion, which is not only selflessness, it is it's the fullest of the devotion of the heart, and showing that whole gradation with the epitome being what is shown in the epitome of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, finally. And Guru Maharaj was of that nature that all of this resonated with him as a very suitable preaching tool, not only as a tool, but a preaching example to show solidly to people who have knowledge of the scripture, have knowledge of various, so many scriptures. In South India, the people are so knowledgeable about what's in the scripture. It's very difficult for us to preach in South India, my humble attempts, because we are saying about Mahaprabhu and about Krishna Leela, but they know so many verses, they can recite all these things, very knowledgeable. But so they've heard all about Hanuman and about this, all so many things they're very familiar. And then Ramananda Roy is giving quotations from the scripture, making a statement, giving a quote, making a statement, giving a quote. So a very substantial journey. And Guru Maharaj, he was very clear thinker. I mean, not just thinking, that thinking sounds material. He was just clear. Over 90 years old, look what he's saying. So clearly, not referencing, etc., and going back and double checking, just flowing with revealing things. And for Guru Maharaj, this Ramananda Samvad, then it just struck that beautiful music, if you like, of going step by step by step by step to the highest goal, which is beauty, sweetness, love, attraction. And it's easy to say these words, and people, they sell handbags for $2,000 using these words. But well, they do. But when we go on Harinam Sankirtan, we see advertisements which, what are they putting? That's for Krishna consciousness. It's not for a handbag. Come on. Anyway, they have some good. I mean, the advertising world is pretty efficient, but fake. And the genuine handbags, the $2,000 ones, but fake advertising going to bring you eternal joy, whatever. Hare Krishna. Substance. Guru Maharaj was a man of substance. This is it, a devotee of absolute substance, of character, of truth. And Guru Maharaj himself saying, I stand for the truth. Always I am on the side of truth. And this is all expressed. Truth plus. It's not only truth, but then truth plus all these things.
Mukunda Prabhu is asking, was the Pancha Tattva, were they all associating at the same time?
Yes. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadha, Srivas. Adi, heading Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, the devotee section of the Lord. And where were they? All in the same time? They were in Navadip. Chaitanya's, no, I would say Chaitanya Saraswati. Srivasangam. And Gadadha went to school, whatever school, told maybe, but he went to school, yes, you can say, with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Advaita Acharya, he called Mahaprabhu to come. He also had a home in Navadip. And Srivas Thakur's home is where they originally all gathered and made a tumultuous sound that the other people around, they complained. So, but that complaint did a lot of good, because Mahaprabhu got a little upset and said, okay, we shall come out of the house and we'll come in the streets, because they took their complaint to the Qazi, to the ruler. But that was in Srivas Thakur's house. Gadadhar Pandit was inseparable from Mahaprabhu, even through the schooling age, inseparable from Mahaprabhu. Advaita, Nityananda Prabhu came to Navadip when Mahaprabhu started showing his devotional pastimes, and there meeting together again, wonderfully described, all of this described in Chaitanya Charitamrta, and then you will come to see that they all were there in Navadip, and they were all there in Puri in the later on pastimes. Gadadhar Pandit took Kshetra Sannyas to be always with Mahaprabhu. Once he'd heard that Mahaprabhu was going to take shelter there, he took shelter in Puri. And Nityananda would go, Advaita Acharya would go to Puri, they would all meet up in Puri, and Gadadhar Pandit there, and Srivas Thakur would go with Shivananda Sen and others on their pilgrimage to Puri for the Jagannath Rath Yatra. And I had some other quotes which are associated with the Rath Yatra, actually, about wonderful things of Chaitanya Charitamrta. By the way, there are promises, there are guarantees. In fact, the quote we read a little bit before, then Guru Maharaj, just now I think, used that word guarantee. If the closer we allow Mahaprabhu to our heart, even unconsciously, we will get the guarantee of Krishna Leela, which is amazing. But in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, we find description after description of pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and many times, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says, one who hears this narration with faith will certainly get love of Godhead. Things like this. And again and again. And one is about the Jagannath Rath Yatra. One who hears the pastime of Jagannath Rath Yatra as he is presented it to us, which is giving us not an external reason, but the internal reason. Then they're giving some great boon that they will certainly get love of God, or something like that. I had the quote to share because it was about Jagannath Rath Yatra, but many of the Leelas, there is some similar expression by Krishna, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj. So if you want love of God, read this book. I mean, as an introduction, we all we don't want to put up our hand, I want to be miserable. We want to put up our hand, we say we want a wholesome, proper life, but for ourselves, and as we hear, for others too. So Chaitanya Charitamrita, golden volcano of divine love, loving search for the lost servant, revealed truth of these books by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. They're coming to kind of wake us up. We want all these things. It's available. There is a descending current of mercy to the most fallen. It's also emphasized in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we can put up our hand and say, well, at least we're in the fallen department. Hare Krishna.
We have another question from Lavanya Sundari Didi. She's saying, Dear Srila Madhusudan Maharaj and beautiful devotees, my Dandavat pranams. My query is regarding the pastimes of Sriman Mahaprabhu in South India. These are most beautiful and inconceivable pastimes, and I was wondering from how we are to understand the significance of his visiting these holy places, and for example, his discussions and teachings to the Tattvavadis.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj actually gives us our answer as we read through Chaitanya Charitamrita again and again, because the first reading, as Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj actually acknowledges, maybe the first time you read it, you don't get so much, but keep on reading. It will build up and will become a great joy. And there, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is explaining that Mahaprabhu went to South India in order to distribute mercy, in order to distribute mercy to those religious people of South India, but to give them Krishna consciousness and not only dharmic consciousness or the consciousness of the godly form of God, a majestic form of God, like this. And so he went for this purpose, to deliver the residents of South India and to purify the holy places. And in India, many, I do not know, thousands, tens of thousands of holy places. Almost every village has got somewhere holy. And Mahaprabhu, wherever he went, then also it became a place of pilgrimage, even if it wasn't already. And when Mahaprabhu traveled to North India, through going up to Vrindavan later, then wherever he crossed on the river, the instruction from the ruler was to make a shrine. It will be a worshipable place where Mahaprabhu put his feet. So in order to cleanse the pilgrimage places, but in order to distribute mercy. This is Mahaprabhu's visiting South India, and he visited many temples of different devas, different gods, and he always gave Krishna consciousness. And the devas, the gods, they are happy. 33 million plus demigods, devas, in charge of the administration of the universe. Oh, how can be 33 million? Well, how many ministers are in the government of any one country? You've got all sorts of ministers, for finance minister, electric supply minister, gas supply minister, this minister, that minister. Well, you've got a lot of ministers looking after the universe, but the gods are all working, serving on behalf of Krishna. So they are happy, they are getting nourishment, joy, when they see others worshipping Krishna. When we put food to the stomach, all the limbs, everything is fed. So the temples that Mahaprabhu went to, he wasn't in any clash, but he was adding Krishna to the life of the devotees in South India.
We've got 2 more questions. Please, could you explain the significance of the verse Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Eva Kevalam?
The significance, wow. Well, first of all, one explanation, very significant. But we did touch on this, I believe, on our first, in part 1, that it is this verse, it is stressing actually 6 times that we must chant the holy name of the Lord in Kali Yuga. It is the only way that we will actually have proper religious life. The only way that we're going to get solved our rebirth, birth, death, old age, and disease. I mean, we think we're not in it, but we're definitely in it. Just visit the hospital, pop in, say hello to a few people on the different floors, and you'll soon kind of realize, no, this is us. We are in the middle of this. So, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam. So 3 times stressing that only the chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name, when it's stressed 3 times, it is absolutely imperative. This is the only way. Then Kalau Nasdev, in Kali Yuga there is no other way, no other way, no other way. Nastyeva, Nastyeva, certainly no other way, certainly no other way, certainly no other way than the chanting of the name. So 3 times asserting, we must chant the name, 3 times asserting There is no other way. That makes 6. And that really is like a big sledgehammer to try to crack a hole in our very hard heads so that we really will take our attention to chanting the Lord's name. I mean, really, that's a very strong verse. So the significance is sledgehammer on a head significance, this kind of. And still our heads are so hard, our egos are so hard that we have other things to do which are much more important than chanting the holy name. And then we've been given by Mahaprabhu this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Many, many names of God, but this is the Maha Mantra for Kali Yuga, given again in the Puranas and given by Mahaprabhu, pointed out by Mahaprabhu. And now to chant that name in the proper measure, when you've got japa, the proper measure says japa. We must chant our japa, and we must also chant always, whether sleeping, awake, walking, eating, doing anything. This we must try to do. And talking about the 33 million devas, the gods and those who live in the heavenly planets within this universe, who are wise, they pray to take their birth on earth. Earth, here. They pray to take their birth on earth at this time in Kali Yuga, this Kali Yuga now especially, because of the causeless grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That causeless grace is available here. And the wise sages and saints on the heavenly planets, the devas of the heavenly planets, they pray to take their birth so that they may be connected with that current of greatest mercy that is flowing now. You will also find this in Chaitanya Charitamrta. And so it is a great source of not only nourishment for our, thinking I should do it, but it's a great source of doing devotional service. And we must try to do. Not only to know something, but to do something. An ounce of practice is worth a ton of theory. Our bookbinder in Calcutta, very wise man, he would quote that to me when we go with the pages of a book for binding. You must give me dummy copy, otherwise. Anyway, long story, not long story, but he had a good point. So we need to do our practice, whatever little we can. And I do have you all in front of me, by the way. Hare Krishna.
We're a little sad to have to ask you the last question for this session. But it goes as follows. In Chaitanya Charitamrta, we hear that the highest realization is not approaching Krishna alone, but approaching Krishna through the grace of his devotees. Why is the mercy of the devotee considered even more accessible and powerful than directly approaching the Lord?
Hare Krishna. Well, the devotees are with us, and we can touch them, we can serve them, we can also fight with them, but that's not a good idea. The devotees are with us, and Krishna is very pleased to receive service through his devotees, that we will serve his devotees, because devotees, the pure devotees, they don't want anything from Krishna. And Guru Maharaj explained this, and I remember the first time we heard this, really thinking, oh, so wonderful, that the pure devotees they won't accept something coming from Krishna. And so Krishna wants to give them some reward, something good, but the devotees say, no, I don't want anything, only service to your lotus feet. So when Krishna sees somebody else is rendering some service, doing something to help his devotees, then Krishna's heart is softened and thinks, they are doing what I cannot do. I want to serve them, but they won't let me. But these people, they are serving my devotee. And then Krishna's heart is drawn there. This is one angle. And another angle is we must have recommendation by some residents of that quarter. We can't just go to the king in general. We have to have some introduction. We need to be under the care of someone. And we need to establish that now, rather than think, oh, I lead my life doing everything and anything. And when I die, I will find someone in the other plane who will look after me. That may or may not be. It depends on what is fate. Fate according to our circumstances, thinking, activities, karma, everything. But if we can solidify that connection in this lifetime, then we've got the grace of the devotees who will help us to come to Krishna. So it is a solid relationship to have the relationship with the devotees. And let's face it, we can't really see Krishna or hear Krishna. When we come, we might kind of imagine we can hear some answer coming from him. But if we can come to the devotees, we can see, serve, and hear the answers that come from them. And we can show our devotional intention by satisfying the devotees who are satisfying the devotees who are satisfying the Lord, and not try to run straight to Krishna and leave aside all the wonderful persons who are serving him. Anyway, I was asked to give these 3 introductory classes, and we tried to give something from A to Z, any Americans, A to Z. But anyway, it's an introduction. And as we just mentioned about, we may get lots of knowledge about things, but we must try, but we must do something. If anyone from today or already started to read Chaitanya Charitamrta as a result of us trying to give some, like, as far as we feel and know, like very solid introduction, why, what is this book, what a treasure, why it's good for us, why we should read it. Even if one person will do that, then we can think, well, successful. But at least we try to present something which is truthful, which is beneficial, and which will give joy to the heart, most pleasing. And in the meantime, we are not all in distant places. Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj have made a temple for the whole world. It's not buildings, it is the temple of the heart, and you are all in the temple of the heart of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. Every day is a festival in that Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat for those who participate. So here's some participation for us all. Read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, some kirtan, offer our prasadam. What a beautiful life, a worldwide temple. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha, kripa sindhubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dear devotees,